The more we were different, the more we were the same. The conversation wasn't really about money, it was about permission. What promise have you made to yourself that life has gotten too loud to hear? Welcome. Pull up a chair. Let's chat and reflect. One of my hopes for these reflections is that they become a place where we simply slow down together. Not another lesson, not another podcast, just a few honest minutes to pause, to reflect, and maybe ask ourselves some better questions. This month has been a meaningful one. We hosted our very first True Wealth conversation. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect. Whenever you create something new, there's always that little voice wondering, will anyone come? Will this resonate? Will people understand the vision? What surprised me wasn't the attendance, it was what happened around the table. Watching complete strangers listen deeply, encourage one another, pray for one another, share honestly, reminded me why this community exists. After the conversation, one woman sent me a message that simply said, "My kind of people." Those four words have stayed with me. Not because someone enjoyed the event, but because I think so many of us are quietly looking for places where we don't have to perform, where we don't have to pretend, where we can simply be human. Another woman shared something that I haven't stopped thinking about. She said, the more we were different, the more we were the same. And I love that. Different ages, different backgrounds, different stories, different experiences. And yet, around that table, we found ourselves asking many of the same questions. What really matters? What kind of life am I building? What is my purpose? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? Another reflection that stayed with me came from a woman who wrote, I loved exploring how my money psychology was formed. It made me realize I can change that. And I think that's one of the most hopeful realizations we can have. Our past may explain us, but it doesn't have to define us. We all have stories that shaped us, beliefs we've inherited, fears we've learned. But healing begins the moment we realize those stories aren't the end of our story. As I reflected on the conversation, I realized something else. The conversation wasn't really about money or health or relationships, not even purpose. It was about permission, permission to slow down, permission to ask deeper questions, permission to admit that maybe the life we're building isn't fully aligned with the life we truly want. That has been speaking to me personally as well. Many of you know that my husband was recently in a serious car accident, and thankfully he's doing well. But it became another reminder for our family that life is incredibly precious. A few years ago, my own health scare forced me to slow down. Now, walking alongside my husband through his recovery, I'm being reminded again that none of us are promised tomorrow. That isn't meant to create fear. If anything, it's created gratitude. It's made me even more committed to protecting what matters, to slowing down, to being present, to building a life I don't need a vacation from. One promise I made to myself after my health scare was that I would never wear exhaustion as a badge of honor again. And if I'm honest, that's still something I have to pay attention to. It's easy, especially as entrepreneurs, parents, leaders, to slowly drift back into overcommitting ourselves, sometimes without even realizing it. So lately, I've been asking myself some hard questions. Does my calendar reflect what I say I value? Am I protecting my health or simply talking about it? Am I making time for the people I love or just assuming they'll understand? Am I building a life that reflects what I actually believe? Those aren't questions I've mastered yet. They're questions I'm still living. Looking ahead, I'm especially excited about August. August is my birthday month, and this year it feels especially meaningful because 5 years ago, my health scare changed the direction of my life. So it feels fitting that our August conversation will focus on physical wealth, health, stewardship, the gift of life, and I'll also be sharing my testimony publicly for the first time. Not because it's a story about surviving, but because it's really a story about remembering. Remembering what matters most. Remembering the promise I made to myself as a little girl. And choosing to live differently because of it. We'll also be bringing back Hands and Feet of Jesus, where we serve our neighbors experiencing homelessness. This has always been one of my family's most meaningful parts of our family's rhythm. If you'd like to join us, I'd truly love to have you because I believe one of the greatest expressions of wealth is generosity, not just generosity with our resources, but with our time, our attention, our presence. Before we leave today, I love to leave you with one question to carry into this new week. Not one to answer for me, just one for you to sit with. What promise have you made to yourself that life has gotten too loud to hear? Take a little time with that this week. Journal about it, pray about it, talk about it with someone you trust, because sometimes the life we're longing for begins by remembering something we've always known. Thank you for slowing down with me today. There's always a place for you here. I'll see you at the table.